Background on 5G, give you some technology overview. Hopefully we can teach you a few different things about the technology in general. And then again, we'll show you how we're using it and what products you can expect to see shortly with 5G capabilities. So first and foremost, Peplink's core mission is to deliver unbreakable connectivity anytime, anywhere. And that mission really isn't changing with the onset of 5G. That is still super relevant, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go through this. But again, Peplink's core mission is delivering unbreakable connectivity, no matter 5G, 4G, 3G, wireline, wireless. That is our absolute mission. And we feel like we do a pretty good job at it, but it's not really important what we think. What's most important is what our customers think. So we've been covered by Gartner's research for the last 3 years in their WAN edge infrastructure category. And that's great. We're very proud of that. But again, we're most proud of what our customers are saying about our products. And so Gartner in parallel operates their Peer Insights page. And so any Gartner customer, any Peplink customer, any customer using a vendor that Gartner covers is allowed to come to this site, register, and put a review, put a testimonial up about their experience with the particular product and vendor. And so I really am most proud of this. We have excellent ratings on here. Our ratings far outshine a lot of our competition. And so this, I think, is really the biggest testament to what we're able to do in terms of delivering on that mission of unbreakable connectivity. So what are we seeing out there in terms of 5G? Anybody who's got eyeballs and ears can tell 5G is happening, right? There's phones, there's ads, there's all kinds of talk and buzz about 5G. And I think a lot of us have seen some form of a 5G deployment showing up in their area, if not recently, very soon on the way. But up until now, the device availability just hasn't really been that widespread. It's been limited to hotspots and phones. And so we haven't really seen that wave of adoption yet in 5G. It's really just kind of at the beginning still. One question we keep getting is, won't 5G eliminate the need for Speedfusion? 5G is fast, right? That's the whole promise. 5G is going to be really fast. And so Speedfusion, why would I need that if I've got this super fast 5G? Well, if you've looked at the wireless networks over the years, it's kind of the same story over and over again, right? 3G came out and it's 10 times faster than 2G was. And wow, what are we going to do with all this speed? How are we going to use all this? Same story with 4G. 100 megabits over wireless. Wow, it's going to take forever to saturate that. And so, 5G, we're talking about gigabit speeds, but there's all kinds of new applications that are pent up and ready to be used on these much faster networks. And so I don't think this is going to be dramatically different than the previous generations have. We're good at consuming bandwidth, right? We're great at it. We've demonstrated that over and over again. So I think you're still going to see some of those same challenges develop as people get more and more adjusted to utilizing the capabilities of 5G. The other reason Speedfusion is still super relevant with 5G is this is a major transition. It's going to take the carriers a long time to fully develop and deploy 5G in a consistent manner. So that consistency is going to take time. Just geographically, they have to build all this out. And so you're going to see a lot of variations in performance from one area to the next as 5G does roll out. And so those variations in performance are going to drive a need for more control over that experience. And so the great news here is Speedfusion is 5G ready. Speedfusion was never designed around one single technology or one single wireless generation. It was always designed to be an adaptable, flexible technology to incorporate different WANs of different technologies and use those in more intelligent ways. So we've been doing a lot of pilot projects with customers and carriers and working on ways that we can make Speedfusion more relevant and more useful in the 5G world. So some other things that we're seeing out in the market right now, customers are getting really comfortable with LTE and or 5G as a primary WAN. More and more businesses are valuing the agility that comes with those wireless connections, right? Before COVID, even still, retail operations were moving much more to a pop-up type of model where they would be in brick and mortar stores, but maybe only for a short period of time, maybe 6, 12 months. And so the needs of businesses have shifted a lot. And so the capabilities of wireless WANs are really matching up really well with those needs now. But of course, there's always going to be little problems. More and more people are aware of application performance shortcomings. Work from home, all the Zoom meetings, Teams meetings that we're doing now kind of highlight these inconsistencies in wireless networks, right? You might get a good speed test result. You might get 20, 30, 50, 100 megs on your speed test, but somehow you're still getting kind of garbly audio and video on your Zoom call. So what's going on, right? It's just not quite matching up with what people are expecting. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of is, especially in the enterprise, companies are avoiding managing infrastructure themselves. They're really, I think, tired of investing in building networks out themselves, and they're much more interested in building applications and software solutions for themselves. And so more and more we're seeing what's winning out there right now is customers and partners that are able to deliver turnkey, fast deploy solutions. So being able to provide connectivity as a service, smart, unbreakable connectivity as a service is really an area we're seeing a ton of growth in now. So what's the current status? I mean, if you watch the news, if you watch the ads, we've got 5G. It's like wireless fiber everywhere, right? You can do robotic surgery from your couch, and you can have a self-driving vehicle that's going to take you from here to there and bring you home. The possibilities are endless, right? And I don't mean to make fun of it, right? These are real possibilities, but the reality is that's not probably the experience that's possible today. And so what's the difference between people's expectations and the reality out there? Right now, I think a lot of people expect 5G super fast, right? That's what the ads are saying. And so let's flip that switch. I've got 5G in my city. I want to see that hair-bending gigabit, 10 gigabit speed. And for most of us, that's really not going to be the experience that we see today. Instead of a switch, I think the 5G deployment is a lot more like a dimmer. It's not on or off, it's how bright is it right now? How far along is it? So right away, probably a year or two ago, we started to see really limited pilot projects rolling out. A couple cities got a couple deployments, and there were a couple early devices that supported 5G. Now, as those pilots gained traction and proved to be successful, those cities expanded. We started to see some of the flagship Android devices fully support 5G. So we started to get a little bit more maturity, right? It's a little bit more real for people. Now, just a month or so ago, Apple came out with the iPhone 12, and that supports 5G. So now we've got basically all of the flagship and more run-of-the-mill consumer devices supporting 5G. However, that adoption wave hasn't hit yet. The reality is almost everybody on these carrier networks still only has a 4G device. So we've got devices, we've got network, but again, that adoption wave hasn't really hit yet. We're just kind of starting that process where you're going to start to see consumers actually migrating to devices that support 5G in large numbers. So the dimmer's not all the way on yet, right? We're maybe we'll call it halfway there. And so let's look forward to 2021. We're just approaching the end of 2020, and there's been a lot of news lately about routers and things like that supporting 5G, but the reality is those aren't certified yet. The carriers have not certified 5G modules, and so in turn, routers are not certified for these carrier networks yet. So that's really what we're going to start to see in 2021. We're going to start to see these modules get carrier approval, and then in turn, we'll start to see routers and IoT type devices also get approved for these 5G networks. Also in 2021, again, you'll start to see that shift of the consumer devices. Again, right now, pretty much everybody still has a 4G only device. So in 2021, we'll start to see that shift dramatically. Again, these devices are available now. You'll start to see pretty mass adoption of 5G devices. And so you'll start to see the carriers shift their spectrum resources much more heavily into 5G. I think that's a little detail that a lot of people may not be aware of. As the carriers are rolling these networks out, they've got frequencies that they can use in 4G and frequencies that they can use in 5G, and they can kind of share them sometimes too between those two networks. But currently, they haven't really deployed or thrown their full spectrum resources at the 5G networks yet, again, because there's just not a lot of people with devices capable of using them. So you'll start to see 5G get a lot faster in 2021 because, again, they'll shift spectrum resources as people join on with 5G capable devices. 2021 and 2022, you'll start to see mid-band 5G spectrum get deployed. So you'll see an even greater speed boost in 5G as those frequencies are deployed. And we'll talk about these frequencies in a little bit here. And then last but not least is the millimeter wave deployments. Those are already happening. There's probably 30 or 40 cities across the US covered by the different carriers with some degree of millimeter wave coverage. But these are realistically pretty small deployments right now. They're block by block type of urban core coverage areas right now. And so into 2021, 2022, you'll start to see that millimeter wave take shape more and more and really start to enable those super fast gigabit, multi-gigabit speeds that we've all been looking for and waiting for.